In this video, we'll talk about how to solve the order of operations, or PEMDAS. So if you have this string of numbers, how to get it all down just to one number. But the way that most people were taught it is that you write out PEMDAS, you go top to bottom, and then you're done. But that's actually not true, so let's put a cross through that. Let's X that out. Because you want to do things in groups. Primarily, multiplication and division are a group, and addition and subtraction are a group. So you just go left to right for each of those. So we'll see how that works in this example here. Okay, let's start at the top of the list with parentheses. The only thing in parentheses here is the 14 minus 5, so we'll start with that. Now the brackets are also parentheses. They're just larger ones, so we'll want to get all of that down to one number as well here eventually. But doing that, we get 14 minus 5, 9, and we're good. Now what happens if you just have one number in parentheses? If there's nothing in front of it and no exponent, then you can just take the parentheses away, and now we're good on parentheses. So next we look at the exponent, but nothing here has an exponent. Nothing has to the power of 2 or to the power of 3. But a square root is the same thing as an exponent. You just might not recognize it. It's to the power 1/2. So it's considered an exponent. We'll do that next. Square root of 9, what times what gives us 9? Same number times the same number, and that's 3. So now we're done with exponents. But here is the key concept, because multiplication and division are the next step. But if we thought about doing it this way, it would tell us, okay, do multiplication first. 3 times 3 here would give us 9. We'd get 9 divided by 9, and we'd get 1 in the parentheses. That's if we do it this way. But I have a book coming out. It's called The New PEMDAS. We'll see how it goes. And that's where we want to use this method over here. Now, doing that, we want to go from left to right. So we're going to start with 9 divided by 3, and that'll give us 3. Times 3, again, we're just going from left to right, so that turns into 3, then times 3. We then get 9 in the parentheses, which again is different. When we did it the old way, the bad way, we got a 1 there. Okay, now a lot of students just want to go ahead and say, well, what about 22 plus 6? Let me go ahead and add those. But we're not done. We still have to do multiplication. And a number in front of brackets means multiply. So we'll do that, 54, and now we're done with multiplication. And so that last step, add these together, we get 76, and that is our final answer. So that's it. We're going to look at why we do PEMDAS, or situations when you don't as well. On board 2 here, why do we not use it for solving equations? The goal with these ones is you want to keep this balanced the whole time. You could think of it as a scale, where the left side and the right side need to weigh the same amount. Okay, let's move that over. Now you want to isolate x by doing the opposite of what you see. So we'll do this problem, then we'll talk about why you don't do PEMDAS here. Okay, you do the opposite of what you have, opposite of subtract 3 plus 3. Do that to both sides. And that'll cancel those. So on the left side, we just get 4x. On the right side, we get 28. Now we want to do the opposite of multiplying by 4. We're going to divide both sides by 4 here. 4 divided by 4 then cancels. And that gets us x is equal to 28 divided by 4. And that's 7. So we are done. But the term algebra itself, I've heard in Arabic, can translate to something along the lines of the art of putting things back together again, like when your arm is broken, then putting it back together again with a cast. That's what you do with solving equations. And notice how we actually did PEMDAS backwards. You'll do addition and subtraction first. So we started at the bottom, and then you work your way up, and we divide as the next step, and finally we get back to what x was. So in order to reclaim what x was, you essentially do PEMDAS backwards. And then on the final board, feel free to pause and practice on this one here. Okay, assuming you have, let's do it. So we start with parentheses. Let's highlight that. 5 minus 3, and that'll get us 2 squared. So we're done with parentheses. Let's move on to the exponent. We do have 2 squared is the exponent part. That's going to give us 4. And then we're done with exponents. So now we're in that multiplication division group. Let's highlight each of those groups there. 2 times 4 and 15 divided by 3. Okay, 2 times 4 is going to give us 8. 15 divided by 3, 5. And then from here, we're done with multiplication division. We'll move on to addition, subtraction. Now, we could do those left to right, just like we talked about. 5 minus 8. Think of being on a number line. You start at the number 5. You go 8 to the left, and you end up at negative 3. And then, to combine negative 3 plus 5, imagine you're at negative 3 on the number line, and you go to the right 5, starting at negative 3, and that'll end you at positive 2. So now you're done. But another way to do addition and subtraction when you have a couple things there together is to do the positive combined with the positive, combine 5 and 5 to get 10 minus 8, and that is another way to get 2. So I hope this is helpful for addressing any misconceptions. Please promote my book, and I'll see you in the next video.